Hey everybody, Jim Sammons here, Kayak Fishing Show, live. Brought to you by Ballast Point Brewing Company. We're going to have a victory at sea today because that's kind of the weather we're having here. It's been pouring with rain. There's literally like waterfalls on the mountain that's outside my house, which we never see. We're kind of in the desert here. So anyway, victory at sea. And a good Friday to everyone. Apparently it's Good Friday. Hey, thanks for joining us. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you haven't given your spouse any reason to kill you while you've been in lockdown. I know that I'm trying my best not to get killed. It is weird. My dogs are going stir crazy because, again, it's been pouring with rain here for the last couple of days. And, we're just not going anywhere. So to you, those of you that actually can still go fishing, I hope you're having a good time. I hope you're getting out there where you can. For those of you that are not allowed to go fishing, I hope you're following the rules. And we can all get past this nonsense as soon as we can because, let's all give a thumbs up to being able to go fishing here soon. I know it's crazy, crazy times. Of course, being on lockdown has given us a little bit of time to kind of work on a few things, and pretty stoked on some stuff that's going to be coming up. Liam Young, how are you doing, man? Thanks for joining us over on Kayak Fishing Tales, our YouTube channel. Gene, how are you? Gene always shows up. Camille, how are you? Staying home. It's a drag, I said, but I've spent some time tying leaders. I've spent some time actually learning some new knots. Trying to be semi-productive during this time, and I can't stop touching my face. I hope you're doing the same, making good use of your buffs and all that I know if you're like me, you probably have 50 of them. I've got a drawer full of them. So at least I've got some kind of coverage whenever I go out. So, over the last 13 years or so now, I was actually made a list here because I had to do some other stuff. And, we've been to a lot of places, Puerto Rico, Panama, Baja, Mexico, mainland Mexico, all over Canada, Alaska, New Zealand, Brazil, Uganda, fishing the Nile, all over the United States, Curacao, Bahamas, Belize, Sweden, Costa Rica, both coasts. We've just had a chance to fish at some amazing places. And, one of the questions always comes up is what's my favorite place to fish? So that's a video I'm going to be working on. We're actually going to touch on our favorite place to fish and some highlights and all that. So trying to stay semi-productive. The announcement that I had for you all today, which I'm really excited about. We've aired on WFN. We're airing our 11th season. Over 130 episodes. So we have a lot of episodes, and WFN basically has had exclusive rights to these episodes. So though we've been able to show little snippets on our YouTube channel, we've never shown full episodes on the internet, So unless you got WFN, you really weren't seeing these episodes. So thankfully that's changed. So beginning next week, we're going to start airing our old episodes. The plan at this point, and the problem is I don't have them all available yet. We have to get them all downloaded. And I mean, we're talking terabytes of video. So, but the plan, at least 2 days a week, we're going to be showing episodes. The thought process at this point is on Tuesdays, we're doing the Jackson years. So everything from when we started working with Jackson, and on Thursdays will kind of be our throwback Thursday to the ocean kayak years. So, from the very first episodes down in Mexico, Florida, Alaska, that sort of thing. But we're not just going to be airing them. We're going to be putting them on Facebook via these live shows. And what I'm going to do is we'll set it up so I'm in a small corner and the rest will be the video. And hopefully I can get guests who are along with me on these shoots, even the old ones, and we can kind of give some behind the scenes commentary. The nice thing is we'll be able to pause it, answer any questions about the videos or the locations. So it'll be something to, basically, like I said, we have over 130 episodes. Hopefully this lockdown doesn't last that long, but we can get through some episodes and kind of give, like I said, a behind the scenes details of these shoots and just swap stories and that sort of thing. And for those of you guys who just don't get WFN, you're going to be able to see some episodes you've probably never seen. So pretty stoked about that. I got a couple questions or comments here. Let me rip through some. Liam watching on the Kayak Fishing Tales. Doing good, Jim. Can't go fishing, stuck off work, but plenty of time working on the kayak. Yeah, I know that's another thing you could be doing is upgrading stuff on your kayak, rewiring things, making sure everything's all dialed in for the fishing season, whether it's, making a new bait tank or, adding a new fish finder, that sort of thing. Hey, Edgar, how are you? Thanks for joining me, man. I do appreciate it. Eric, thank you for joining us. Lynn Leclerc, still ice fishing here in Northern Ontario, here in Cap and doing some lure prep. Ice fishing. I've never done any ice fishing. I don't really plan on doing any ice fishing. It just seems cold. But if that was my only way to fish, I'd probably do it. But we don't have a whole lot of ice other than our cocktails here in San Diego. Chris, how are you doing, man? Charlie, thanks for joining us. Hey, this is cool. Isabel from Denmark. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate that. Gene, that's awesome, Jim. Lots of catching up to do. Great time to do it. Yeah, for sure. And like I said, there's so many people that I talked to that said, maybe they got the Sportsman's Channel, or maybe they got NBC Sports when we were over there. But those were always limited runs. We ran like 4 episodes on those networks, where WFN, we were running 13 episodes a year. So again, if you didn't get WFN, you weren't seeing most of what we do. So the very cool thing is, like I said, I'm going to go back. And again, I'm waiting for my producer to get me all the episodes, because I don't have them. I actually don't sit around and watch my show. I kind of do a screening of the show really quick a lot of times, looking for any continuity errors or anything like that. But they do the editing up at my producers, and they put it on the show on TV. And like I said, I don't sit and watch myself. But this is going to give me a chance, because we're going to watch it together. And like I said, we'll be able to comment on it. You guys will be able to ask questions. So with that, because we haven't done this, I've never run a really long video, and these will be, run time on one of our shows, not including commercials, is about, I think it's like 23 minutes, something like that. So you have 7 minutes of commercials in an episode. So having never run a long video, I want to do a test before we start going. So I've got a video actually keyed up here that's 10 minutes long, and this is actually, if you guys have never seen it, Kayak Fishing Game On. Now that's what started this whole thing. That's where I started in the video production. I mean, I was doing stuff before personally, but this was with working with my producer, Ken Whiting. We made the DVD Kayak Fishing Game On, and that turned into the TV show. So I just pulled a segment of it up. And these are available. These are actually available on Kayak Fishing Tales, our YouTube channel. So if you do want to see these are up in, I think it's 6 parts. So this is just one part, and I just grabbed it because it just seemed like it'd be interesting, and I hadn't looked at it in a really long time. And this is our segment from Alaska, but I just want to see how it looks and how it flows with me off to the side, and with trying to answer some questions and all that sort of thing. So I'm hoping, you'll watch this with me and, like I said, ask any questions. And if you don't have any questions, just enjoy it. It was totally a different feel. When we first started making the game on DVDs, my pitch to my producer for what we were going to do was, if you're familiar with Warren Miller films, the ski films, I had always loved those things. I was in the ski industry years ago, and I had loved the Warren Miller films. I loved the fact that they went to cool places, skied with cool people, had good music, in the background and all that. And that's kind of how I always wanted the DVD to be. And I think we nailed it pretty good. I pulled this one, like I said, the Alaska one, because I know for sure I definitely want to air the full episode of the Baja one. Otherwise, I would have thrown that one up here, because the Baja one's pretty cool, catching marlin and that sort of thing. But this was just a really cool place with our good buddy Howard McKim. Howard kind of has dropped off the face of the earth in the kayak fishing business. I mean, I still hear from him from time to time. He's still up in Alaska. I mean, he was actually down here in San Diego. He was a client of mine kayak fishing, and then he moved to Ketchikan, Alaska, and started a kayaking business and kayak fishing business up there. I think he sold that, and he's just still living up there, and he's doing tours and that sort of thing, I think. But I mean, this guy had for the longest time had the biggest fish off of a kayak. He's still got one of the most incredible stories was a 183-pound halibut that he landed solo from his kayak, and it was just an epic adventure. I mean, he fought this thing for a long time, got it up to the kayak, and then paddled with it under the kayak, still attached to the hook, paddled to an island where he actually landed it from shore, put it on the kayak, and then had to paddle a bunch more miles from the island back to the mainland. And again, this was a 183-pound barn door Alaskan halibut. So I mean, the guy's just a stud fisherman. He's about, I don't know, what is Howard, 6'9" or something. I mean, just super, super tall guy, but very, very cool. Edgar, hope all is well. Jim, thanks for all you do for the kayak fishing community. Well, thank you all. If it wasn't for you guys watching the show and joining me on these things, I wouldn't be able to do this. Camille, it's 77 degrees. It's not that cold. It's in the 60s here, but like I said, it's been pouring and pouring with rain. Which I guess if you got to be on lockdown, it may as well be raining outside, because I wouldn't be going fishing anyway, right? Alex, what is it? Hi, Jim. Remember me? I was the Food for Less receiver at Claremont. I believe you were a Pepsi rep. I was not a Pepsi rep. I was a Pepsi driver. Going by this picture, Alex, I really can't say that I remember you, but I was with Pepsi for 15 years, and I would run into so many people at so many different stores. Maybe if I saw more than just from your nose up, I might be able to tell. But yeah, I was with Pepsi for a long time. I was a merchandiser. I was a side loader driver. I drove the big bulk trucks for the last part of my career there. And I'm glad to be doing this now instead. Although I have a totally wrecked back and shoulders from all that, but that's the way it goes. Jeff, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us. Serge, thanks for joining us from Ottawa. As always, I do appreciate it. Mike, how you doing, buddy? In Texas. Let's see. What's Benjamin Howell? 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts and snow showers here in New Jersey. All state and county parks closed. Thanks for the live stream. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of places are shut down completely. I am seeing posts from people who are going fishing. So I guess if they're allowed to, for a while here, if you had a boat in a slip on the water, you could go fishing. But now even that's closed. You cannot be on the water fishing in any fashion. I'm not even going to put my opinion on whether that's right or wrong, but those are the rules. I'm going to stick by them, and we'll just go from there. Hey, Donald from Long Island, how you doing? And Dave from Virginia. Hey, man. Our good friends in Virginia, Wes Siegler over at Siegler Reels. Anyway, so I'm going to bring this video up, and Again, this is the Alaska segment. Well, let me fix this because we don't need that background like that. There we go. That looks a little better. So basically, I'd love to hear your opinion on how this looks. But like I said, if I bring in a guest, someone who was on a shoot with me, they will basically be either above me or below me. I'm not really sure how that'll work, but I'd love to have questions and comments and all that. But this is how it'll look when we start running our episodes. I know the volume's a little bit different. The volume on the video is not as loud as the volume in me, so I actually have to bring my tone down a little bit. Try not to talk over the top of it. But like I said, I can pause it at any time, which is kind of cool. So we can answer questions about the location and all that. And, you know, we can run our little banners across the bottoms. Like, don't forget to subscribe to these things. You get notified of all of our videos. And you can watch these here on Facebook or at kayakfishingtales.com. So with no further ado, let's, I'm going to drop that off. Let's go ahead and run this video, and I'd love to hear your comments on how this works. And I hope you enjoy it. Like I said, I have not watched this in a really, really long time. This was about, I think we shot this about 13 years ago, maybe 14. So it's old. The quality is, you know, we've learned a lot since then. Just for instance, back then, of course, there was no drones. If we got any aerial shots, they were either from a plane or from a helicopter. There was no drones back then. So drones brought a big change to what we're able to shoot and kind of very dynamic stuff. So anyway, let's run it. This was so cool. Floating or sending in our kayaks on a float plane. So pausing there, if you recognize Howard, he was also the one who caught a blue marlin with us when we were on our Baja trip. I said this was our first season of shooting. I saw Jameson posted there that he remembers watching it. Back then, like I said, we were the very first kayak fishing TV show. So we're still the longest running kayak fishing TV show. We were the first DVD, that sort of thing. So, but we were learning a lot. Back then we would run with 2 camera guys and a still photographer. I believe on this one we only had 1 videographer, which was Will Richardson, who was also the narrator at the very beginning of that. And then we had a still photographer also who got some amazing shots. If you've ever seen the shots of me on my kayak with a killer whale breaching right near me, Jock Bradley took those shots. So very, very cool stuff. Martin, you say you're not hearing any sound on the vid? Okay, well, thanks for letting me know. Let me look at this. That's the weird thing on this, that you have to, there's a little hidden button that I miss all the time. I'm going to stop. I'm going to remove this. Let me stop sharing it and reshare it. And I always forget to hit this stupid little button. So it doesn't make any sense to watch that with any sound. I'm going to start it to the beginning. We got nothing but time. I got nothing but time. Okay, so we will now have audio. Thanks for letting me go. See, this is a new thing. I don't often run video, and that's something I need to really, really remember. Wait, Mike McKenna. I won the How Many Miles Kayak Fishing Show contest with the Heliconia Films. It was amazing when my Ocean Kayak Trident showed up. That is so cool. That is so cool. How many miles? It was a contest of how many miles we had traveled during the year of shooting the show or something along that. I don't even remember what it was. You probably remember better than I do. So let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you hear sound now.
Late spring in Alaska serve as a sharp contrast to the warm Floridian nights. Jim meets up with legendary kayak guide Howard McKim to test his line in these freezing cold waters.
Awesome. Thank you, Lamb. Oh, that's right, Camille. I forgot about Scott's DVD. I think that was more instructional.
Made it. You're here. Let's go fishing.
I'm Howard McKim, and we're in southeast Alaska, almost to Canada. We're right almost on the border. The southern tip of Prince of Wales Island. That's the third biggest island in America, behind Hawaii and Kodiak.
So I'm curious, you guys,
kayak fishing.
Is my voice a lot louder than the sound from the video?
Kind of out of nowhere, made the decision to come to Alaska. I was looking for a serious change of pace. Kind of always figured I would, I think, in the back of my mind, but had a few other things to get out of the way. I like to catch big halibut just because landing them so difficult. My biggest one's 183 pounds, and the whole ordeal, it took me about 8 hours total from when I hooked it till I was back home on my beach, which I launched from the night before. So I kayaked across the channel, spent the night on an island, hooked a big fish about 6 a.m., fought it till noon or so, had a salmon rod, so it was quite a challenge, and thought about landing it in the water to see if I could, but really didn't want that one to get away because I wanted people to see what you can do from a kayak. Called the marina so I could come weigh it because I knew nobody would believe me. It went from there.
We got up extra early because we wanted to try and get out and be out there at sunrise. And we got up at 3 a.m., hit the water by 4, which of course was still well after sunrise. But started off raining, and it looked like it was just going to get nasty, nasty, nasty. I mean, it just got rainier and windier. And then all of a sudden, it's like the switch got flipped, turned off the wind machine, the sun came out, and the fish started to chew.
I'm seriously curious how many of you guys have actually seen this old Game On video. Like I said, it was a long time ago. It's 12 years ago at least. Let me just tell you, we came back, each of us came back with like 2 50-pound boxes of halibut and lingcod and rockfish. It was amazing, amazing. Kept a few lingcod, not a lot. Really prefer to catch and release the lingcod, but man, they're a good eating fish. And such a predator. If you've never caught a lingcod, I mean, it's just a mouth of teeth.
Beautiful, man. That's gonna eat good. Those teeth. So I call them Lingosaurus. Lingosaurus Rex. Nice.
So I'll pause it just there for a second. I don't know if you guys saw when I was landing that black bass, they were boiling all around us. They were very much like a calico bass here. We were catching them on top water or just subsurface soft plastics. It was just so much fun, those fish. And, you know, catching good, strong rockfish stuff here, I would have to go to, you know, over 100 feet of water to catch. We were catching there in 50 or less. And like I said, absolutely amazing place. The funny thing is we went to Alaska about 2 weeks after we were in Florida, where everything in Florida is so small and so flat. You know, I remember seeing some mangroves, and the guy we were fishing with goes, "Oh, okay, we're going to paddle over that island out there." I'm like, "Man, that's a long way away." And within 10 minutes, we were there. I mean, because the mangroves are so small, it just, your perspective is so different. And then we go to Alaska, where everything is just enormous. Howard, he says, "Oh, guys, man, I'm just not feeling well." He goes, "I'm going to paddle into the shore and just kind of lay down, take a nap. You guys keep fishing out here." And like an hour later, I look over and he's still paddling to the beach that he's going to go to lay down on. And it just seemed like, oh, he would be there in 15 minutes, but everything, just your perspective was so different. Absolutely amazing place. I mean, the whales, everything about it. So anyway, get her running again.
Tells the king by the big blotches on the tail.
That goes well with the kayak.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at that big yellow eye.
Baby! People come from Ketchikan, they go 3 hours in a boat to get here just for the day, and we can be here in 10 minutes. So really good spot for kayaking and for kayak fishing right here. We've just had endless fish. It's just been almost every drop, every spot. It's just been crazy. Got it! And the little one got away.
So I'm going to pause that right there because it was pretty darn funny. If you notice that, I had caught a lingcod that was, you know, I don't know, not very big. And lingcod are notorious for being what they call hitchhikers, and they will hit the fish that you're already pulling in. So a bigger lingcod hits the one that I've got hooked. The camera boat's a little ways away from me, so I called them over and I go, "Hey, get ready," because he's just sitting next to my boat in the water, holding on to this other lingcod. I'm like, "Get ready, I'm going to lift him up, and you can get a shot of him holding on." And you could hear the camera guy, the still photographer's camera going off. So I want to get a shot of him holding on to this. So he goes 1, 2, 3, and I do this and set it back down. And then I do it and set it back down. I think we only showed the one time on the video, but I literally did it like at least 3 times. And then I reached down with my boga and I boga the bigger one. He shakes his head. The small one goes flying, and I landed the bigger one without ever putting a hook in its mouth. So it was a good fishing story. I'll back it up a second. Here we go. Maybe we can see it.
Drop every spot. It's just been crazy. Got it.
Yeah, see, he's hanging on to it there. And then lost the other one. I still think it's funny.
Put it in gear and put it. Unlike most places where you go kayak fishing, where your arms get tired from paddling, here your arms are definitely tired from pulling on fish.
We caught so many fish. It was absolutely amazing.
Nice yellow-eyed rockfish. Good fish.
There, that's the picture.
Yeah, look at these.
11 o'clock and we caught our limit. Had to come in.
Had to come in. We'll be going back out for salmon. So that's a beautiful fish, isn't it?
Arms spent from hauling in hundreds of fish, the crew heads to their home base at the one and only Rocky Bay Lodge.
Well, my name is Donald Munhoven,
My name's Lisa.
Donald Munhoven.
and we own the Rocky Bay Lodge, and here we are out at Nichols Bay.
Well, you can, one thing with you guys, kayaking, guided saltwater fishing, unguided saltwater fishing, for halibut, king salmon, cohos, assortment of rockfish, yellow eye, and lingcod.
They're in the prime location. It's real hard to get land around here. That's why there is so much of it, because you can't just come by it. You can't just build on it. So they have a floating lodge, very nice, luxurious, full facilities, fish processing, freezers, everything. And they're right here just inside the protected Nichols Bay here, right on Cape Shacken. But it's one of the best spots we have around. If you ask anybody in Ketchikan where they want to go fishing, it would be right here where we're sitting right now.
You can do everything out here. It's a lot of fun. You should come see us to find out.
And you can see our fillet already forming here.
Come Saturday night, seem like everybody knows when I'm a coming into town.
Oh, man.
They say if you stop and listen, you hear West.
That is so good.
I'm
I'm all done, man. I think it's time to do the dishes. All right.
But we're so confident in the fishing here. We made a homemade lure last night. 3 of the fine beers we've been drinking. With a little octopus hook on the end. So we're going to drop this special lure down. I think we'll take bets first on what kind of fish this is going to catch. I'm guessing lingcod.
God's sakes, man, don't lose the lure.
So yeah, so many fish out there. I mean, he caught fish
Like
after
we said,
fish
if you're ever
on
stuck
beer
out here
caps.
with a bunch of beers, you know you can catch fish.
I got a case of beer and 1 fish hook.
Hang on. This guy's kind of heavy.
The fishing here has rocked today. We've caught so many fish. I mean, literally in the hundreds. And of course, you know, I know all of us on this trip will never forget having the orcas come up.
I said, unfortunately, we didn't get on video so much of
Seeing those orcas from a distance.
the breaching, but I mean, we have I have still photos of. There it is. But I have amazing photos of the orcas breaching right by me. It was so cool.
Fantastic day. I mean, and we've got so many more days to go. I mean, I don't know how we're going to top this day.
That humpback whale right there.
You're not going to make me leave, are you? Are you? Are you? I don't want to leave. Please, please don't make me leave.
That was Jock, our still
Hey, did you know that
photographer.
most campers get
Whoa.
Back in 1956.
We'll stop that. I don't know what was going on there. But anyway, yeah, unfortunately, which is really a drag, is Rocky Bay Lodge no longer exists. So we were lucky to be there. I think they were in existence for 5 years or something. They had some financial issues during when we kind of had the downturn in the economy some years back, and they just never got back going again. But like I said, absolutely amazing. We would drop traps and catch, just tons. I mean, we feasted on spot prawns that were like this every day, and then fresh salmon, fresh halibut, lingcod. It's just absolutely amazing. So anyway, that was a super cool. It was fun to relive that. I had not watched that in years. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that this format is going to work. Like I said, I kind of enjoy doing that. And, I think if we have a guest on here, some of the people who are on the shots and while we're showing those old episodes of the show, I think that'll be pretty cool. I'd love to hear what you guys think. If we have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you. Mike, you say the boats we were in was the same one. So you won like a Trident 15 or a Trident 13, I suppose. Yeah, Edgar, Alaska is awesome. I've been lucky enough to go to several places up there, usually with Howard. It's been a long time. We have not, like I said, Howard's kind of gotten out of the kayak fishing end of the business. And so we have not been up there in a while, but we've done British Columbia, which is quite similar. But the variety, I mean, you guys know I have a lot of species of fish I've caught. But when you go to a place like Alaska, you can add 10, 15 new species on a trip. If you've never fished there, with catching all the halibut and the different salmon and the variety of rockfish, it is so, so cool. Mike said it was a Trident 13. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, I mean, I did help design that boat for Ocean Kayak many, many years ago. I kind of did the deck layout and the center hatch and all that. That was one of the first boats that actually had a center hatch where you could get your rods and all your gear down inside the boat. And you look forward to seeing the old episodes again. Well, at least you've seen it. Like I said, a lot of people probably have not seen them if you don't get WFN. So, Gene, thanks for joining us. I hope you do join us for these and listen to some of our stories. I mean, like I said, the cool thing is, bringing back some of the really old ones like this, if I can get Kevin Whitley on here, because we did a shoot with him, just some of the old school guys, I think that'll be really, really fun. And like I said, if we can do it, and again, this is all hoping that my producer can get a hold of all the episodes and get them to me. But we're, like I said, we'll split it up. We'll have the Jackson years and the Ocean Kayak years, and just have some fun with it. And like I said, at least it's something to, at least we can think about fishing and watch fishing and, see how far we've come since the beginning. I know that, Camille, for sure. Camille, we'll try and get Jeff Herman on here with us. He's a great storyteller. His music is actually in the episodes, in a lot of them. So always cool to have Jeff around, and I'd love to have him on there. Zach, you said I subscribed to WFN pretty much for the old episodes. We do have some pretty exciting news coming up that I can't really share yet. But we have some really, really exciting stuff that's going to give a lot more people the ability to see the new episodes. So I think you'll be stoked about that as well, but I really can't talk about that just yet. But anyway, I hope you will join us at this point. We will be doing them on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I haven't really decided on a time. It'll be probably around the same time, 2 or 3 o'clock my time. And the seasons I have on hand that I could start with is season 9 and season 10. I'd rather start at the first years of Jackson Kayak and the first years of Ocean Kayak, but that's what I've got on hand. So count on something next Tuesday. If you can join us, I'd really appreciate it. And, just try to be safe out there, and just, like I said, do what you're told. Don't make this get prolonged, because it seems like, like the people that were gathering on beaches in Florida, were the ones who weren't following the rules, which made them shut down the beaches everywhere. And we had the same problem here, I guess. I heard that, we had a lot of people hanging out at the beach on one weekend before everything got shut down, when they were just suggesting people don't congregate. So I just hope, I hope for all of our sake it passes soon, and we can all get on the water and get back to what we love. But I hope you enjoyed this. I'd love to see more comments if you think we can do it better. If you think, if you have any ideas, like I said, I'd love to hear them. But if nothing else, if you want to kill some time, I hope you can join us next Tuesday and next Thursday. That's my thought right now, is Tuesday and Thursday. I said Tuesday new, Thursday kind of the throwback Thursday to the old. So love to hear your thoughts. If not, I'm going to roll out of here. I hope you all have a good weekend, a good Friday, a great Easter. Spend it with your families if you can, or God, I guess everybody's using Zoom and stuff to communicate nowadays. So at least maybe you can spend some time with them then, though. Anyway, if you are getting on the water, please remember, always wear your PFD and keep your paddle right side up. You take care.
I'm going fishing.